Hello, adventurers. So I just kind of wanted to do like a quick little look at how much experience I get for life skill experience. Especially what I'll be looking at though is going to be cooking and manufacturing. So what I first did was I made sure that I had the Tree Spirit Sprout Life XP, and then also what I'm going to be using is the Artisan's Monument. But first, let me grab a couple of these porridges, so I also get some extra life skill XP. And if you don't know what this does, it just gives life skill XP plus 10% for 1 hour. So I'm gonna grab 2 of them just so I have plenty of time to make this video. So let's take these, and then also, like I just said, I'm gonna go to my camp and use the Artisan's Monument. Let's do this. And then there you go, another 10% life skill XP. So I should have an extra 50% life skill XP. I did look here in my info, but I don't see an area that actually says like manufacturing XP, because like right here you can see logging, foraging, mining, and fishing, which by the way, it was only like a 40% boost for some reason. So something's not actually adding to this calculation right here, because earlier without any of the boosts, I had 187 logging XP, which means that it was only a plus 40% increase. So it's 10% from the Artisan's Monument, it's 10% from the porridge, and apparently it's 30% from the Tree Spirit. So I don't know which one's not showing, but hopefully it is still working somewhere in the background and it's just like not being added to that calculation. So really quickly, I'm just gonna show all of the skill bonuses right here. So here we have 2 hour plus 10%, we have life skill XP plus 10%, and then we have this Tree Spirit Sprout plus 10%, or plus 30%, so that should be plus 50. And I'll show like a before and after of my actual skill XP, just so you can see like, oh, it really was only a 40% increase, even though this says 50 altogether. But with that being said, let's go back to the camp and let's make a couple of things. I might end up using some stamina just so that way I have more resources to work with. So let's just go ahead and pull out like 50 for now. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to look at cooking. So I have a lot of flour. Let's see. The things that I want to make is going to be just a little bit of French toast. If I have enough for this, I will do that. But I want to make a couple more of these porridges. I love life skilling, so... oh, well, I don't have enough red beans, actually, so that is what it is. But normally what I'll make is just spicy pasta. I sell these on the market, so just as long as I have enough ingredients for all of this. So it looks like I can make around 950. So I'm gonna make some heavy whipping cream. So let's do just 800 and see how that gets us. And then looking at my level, I'm at Guru 17 plus 32%. So let's just make 800 and see how much XP that gives me. About 5%. Could have been a little bit more than 5%, could have been pretty close to 6, but really there's no way for me to know. So let's just keep doing this. Try to like see what I can do with the numbers later. So here we got about 9% from making 2,000. The thing is, I don't actually know if these extras that you make adds to the experience or if it's just the base number that you would have made to begin with. I'll probably do some testing with manufacturing just because my level's a little bit lower. So we'll take a look at that, but I'll do that here in a bit. I'll do that separately. I don't want to use all of these. I'll just use like 1,500. I think I need 4,000 in total, so that was right about the perfect amount. But and then for this one, we got another 8%. That's pretty good. So let's go over here. What I want is some butter. So we just need 41. Make 41 butter. Let's just do 40. So like right here, this is kind of what I'm saying is like, we can't tell how much XP away I am. So I could be at like 54% 0.001, but it'll still say 54%, or I could be at 54% 0.007 or 54% 0.7 or something like that. So right here, I don't know how far I am to the next percentage. So what I really should do is like keep doing individual numbers until I'm like at the actual baseline, but even then that's not going to tell me like where I am after. So I could probably try to do that, but I'm a little bit too lazy. But anyways, let's just continue this. So French toast, we have everything we need. So let's just make this, because what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to sell these. I'm trying to raise a bit of money right now. So let's see. So I didn't even make that many, but I ended up getting 6%. So that's actually pretty good. But the real thing that I'm going to make is this one now. So what I want to do is let's just batch cook 100 and let's see how much that gets us. So I batch cooked 100 and I got 20%, which is really, really good. But what I'm looking at are these two right here. I have 119 and then 19 over here. So on average, I get like 20% extra, but let's just see. What I want to do is this again. Do another 100 and we'll see if we still get that 20%, see if that's consistent, or if it's gonna go down because maybe I didn't make as many extras, or if it's gonna go up because I made more extras. And it actually went down. So looking here, it looks like I ended up cooking less. So 114 and then I ended up with 9 as opposed to the 19 and the 119. So I ended up missing out on 3% XP. The thing is, obviously, like I said before, you can't actually tell like how far into the percentage I am, but then also I didn't know how far into the percentage I was when I was at 17.6, but I went from 17.6 to 17.8, which is a whole 20%. Even if I was like really close to 0.61%, that really doesn't make up for the whole difference that we're seeing here. So this is 17%. So even if I was, and I'm trying to break this down pretty easily, but I'm really bad at explaining, but even if I was really close, like say I was closer to 19% to get to this 0.8%, it doesn't make up for the fact that I only went to 17%. So if I was closer to 0.61%, I would have still needed a whole 19%, which means there's room for like error by 2% or at least 1%, because this could be at like 0.97, 0.888 or something like that. It could be really close to 0.98, but it's not. So, or at least we don't know, but this is 17%. So at least from what I've just seen right here is the number of meals that you cook is the XP that you actually get. It's not the base number. So if I were to make 100 of these, but I ended up getting 150 out of it, I'll get the experience for making 150. So there's just kind of that. What I'm going to do is let's just do, let's do 15. That should get us all the way to Guru level 18. Okay, so now we're at 0%. Again, the only thing is we don't know how close we are to the actual 1%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook one at a time until I get to 1%. And then we'll use that as the baseline. So let's just cook one. But again, the only thing is if I do make extras and I go over, I won't know how much more over I am, but we'll just kind of do this to see what we get. Just from what I've seen so far, it should take me about 5 to cook to get 1%. So 5 to cook in total. So on this one, I should go up a level, especially since I made that special pasta as well. Nope. Let's go again. Okay, so there's the 1%. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is let's just batch cook, but let's do 3 to save us some time. So I'm at 1%. I'm going to count how many of these actual meals that I end up making to get to 2%. So here I've made 4. Let's just cook 1. Here I've made 5. So I ended up making 7. Just because this is 2 right here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and batch cook another 5 and see what happens. So I went up another %, but I ended up making 7. So on average, it's about 7, but let's just try to reset this again. Try to get it as close to 0 as possible. And by 0, I mean like the percentage after this 3%. So we're on 5. It should take me 1 or 2 more, but let's see. Okay, so 1 more should get me there. Hopefully I don't double cook. I really don't want to double cook. I also don't want to make like a special version. So all right, we're at 4% and we didn't double cook. So this is like as close to like baseline 4% as I could probably get. So what I want to do now is I'm going to batch cook another 100. Let's just see how many or how much XP we get, how many extras we get as well. So let's just kind of look. So we're at 4% right now. We went to 22%, which means we gained at least 18%. And this is what we ended up with, was 118 normal pastas, 12 special pastas. So in total, that is 130. So I guess you could probably like divide 130 by 7, and that would be about what you would expect. So I'm just going to kind of do that. What I'm kind of trying to look at right now, though, is do these special pastas give you more XP than the other ones? My guess is probably, but it might not be. So 130 divided by 7. Yeah, we could have expected 18.571%. So maybe it's not that much better, but what we have left here is like, I'm assuming that we're at 18 or we're at 22.57%. So it should take me about 3 or 4 more of these pastas to get to the next percentage. So let's do that so we get another baseline. So let's just do 1. Okay. 2. So it should be 3 or 4. I have to make 3 or 4. So let's see. There's 2. That's 3. And then this one should basically guarantee that I get another level up. But let's just kind of see. And hopefully it's not a double cook. If it's a double cook, yikes. It is a double cook. Wow. And we actually didn't go up in a percentage. So that's interesting. Let's just cook another one. I'm still not going up in a percent. So I guess we weren't as close to the next percent as I was thinking. So maybe we do actually take a little bit more. It might not be 7 exactly per 1%. So it's probably a little bit more than 7. So maybe it's like 7.5 meals. But either way, we're here now at 23%. So what we're going to do again is let's go ahead and batch cook. But just from what I can tell, the special ones don't give more XP than the not special ones. But let's just take a look. So we're at 23%. So this time we went up another 18%, it looks like. And we ended up with the same amount of meals. So 123, it's 131. So it's about the same. And then last time, I believe we cooked 5 or 6 to do the level up. So what I'm going to do is let's do that again until we get to 42%, just to kind of see like, what did we have left remaining? So we made 131 meals and we ended up getting 18 and some change as a percentage. So there's 2 extra meals cooked right there. This would be my 3rd extra meal. And I'm just trying to go to 42%. So this will be 5 because we have the special one as well. And I'm operating under the assumption that the special ones really don't give more XP. It's possible, but I just can't tell yet. Okay, and then so on my 6th one, we ended up getting to 42%. So this should be pretty low on the number, like 42 point whatever percent. It should be pretty low for the whatever. So let's do another 100. And I think I've pretty much gotten the data that I want for this. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna do a huge batch cook. But I'm gonna do that once I get to Guru 19, so that way I can pretty much see, like, is my XP changing because I'm at a higher level? Probably. Like, it probably takes more XP to actually get from level 20 from 19 than it does from level 18 to 19. So this time I only went up 17%, but the number of meals that we cooked was 125. So the meals went down. And there's 3. Okay, so 7.2 seems pretty close, at least for level 18. What I'm gonna do now is we're gonna check to see if there's any difference from level 18 to level 19. So really what I'm gonna do is let's do another 100 and let's see where it gets us. So we're at 16%, and in total what we ended up getting was 126 total meals. So this is basically the percentage that we get per meal. So what I'm looking at now is it consistent with this? So we have 126. So multiply this by 126. Just by eyeballing it, no, this is not consistent. I should have been at like 17% or so. And it was only one more. Okay, well, it is what it is. So let's do batch cook. Let's do another 100. Okay, so we got another 17%. So this is 132 meals that were cooked this time. So it was more than before, but on average, this is more or less what we're looking at. We're gonna get this percentage for every meal that we cook. So let's multiply this by 132. So I should be right around 41.5%. So I should expect that it takes me, I guess let's just multiply, or let's subtract this by 18. So this is the percentage that we're missing. And then let's divide this by the percentage per meal. So this is 0.1328125. 0.1328125, is that what that was? Yeah, it was. Okay, perfect. And let's, oops, do the math on that. So it should take me about 3.5. So 3 to 4, or 4 at least. Let's cook one at a time and see, just to make sure. That way I know, like, okay, well, it didn't take that many. It took 2. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know anymore. Well, it is what it is. What I'm trying to look at is, did it change the amount that we need to go from like these 1% to the next percent from level 18 to 19 and then from 19 to 20? Like, did that number change, or is it still the exact same? So what I could look at is the number from before. So this is about how many we thought, but even then, this was incorrect. This is probably a little bit closer. So it took me 2 extra. So it was actually 18 divided by 130. This should actually be like a closer number than what I had before. But it's really hard to tell just because, again, I can't tell how far into this percentage I am. So that keeps throwing me off more and more. So let's just do another 100 and kind of see if this new number that we I guess just made up or pulled out of our okay, so for this one, we did another 100 cook, but we ended up making 130. This time, we ended up with another 17%. So 130, we should have expected to be actually, because the last time it took 130 to get 18%. It should actually only take us one more to get to 60%. One or two more. But I guess another thing that's probably changing is those spicy meals. So with the other one, I had more spicy meals, but with this one, I didn't have as many spicy meals. So I think it's pretty close to the same, but it's ever so slight that the spicy meals or the special meals do give extra XP. So as you can see, I've made more. I should have expected to be at 60% by now, but I wasn't. So I think those special meals do give just a tiny bit more XP. And that's really the only difference that I just saw right then was I didn't have as many spicy meals that were made, but it was right about the same XP. It just took a tiny bit more to get over. So it seems like it's varying from something. So like, this number seems pretty close, pretty solid, but it's not exact, and it does keep varying, and the only thing that I can think of that's making it vary is the fact that I make those special meals every now and then. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this demonstration of cooking. I just kind of wanted to show that. It looks like... Honestly, I can't even tell at this point. Did it take me more meals to cook for every percentage from level 18 to 19? Yes, I think so, but ever so slight. It was just a tiny difference. Because before, when I was making like 100 and I would get like 130, something like that, I would be closer to like 19 to 20%, whereas now I'm getting like 17% consistently. So for every guru level, every one of these levels, I think it takes more XP to increase the level, which means you have to cook more meals in total. And again, it is the total number of meals. It's not the base number. So if I did 10, if I ended up cooking 15, I'll get XP for all 15, not just the 10. So kind of keep that in mind, but that's all I wanted to show for that one. The next thing that I want to do is show you some stuff for manufacturing. So I'm pretty much going to do the exact same thing. I should still have the XP potions ticking. So really quickly, I'm going to leave my camp and just kind of show that those are still working. So we have life skill XP plus 10%. Artisan's Monument plus 10%, and we have the Tree Spirit Sprout plus 30%. So those are still going for like another hour and 20 minutes or so. So let's go back over here. And again, I'm probably going to do the same thing. I'm going to make some extra resources just so we have like a bigger number to be pulling from. But what I'm mostly interested in is... this one's going to be a tough one. Someone asked me to do like the math on this, but like what's the best thing you should be crafting for points? And then I'm also curious, like what's the best thing you should be crafting for XP? And what that's going to be looking at is the number of resources we're using. So this one's going to be pretty tough. I don't think I'm going to go super deep into this just because these resources take so much to build up. So what I'm going to look at really quickly is what do I not have enough of? So I have 3,000 of these. That's okay. I have another 3,000 of these. I have 3,000 of these. Okay. 3,000. Okay. So this is gonna be really tough. I need more of those plant-based powders. The reason this is tough is because like I can only make so many of these. Like it's actually gonna be really weird to calculate this. So honestly, just from my experience, what I would say is like the best thing to always craft is just gonna be these dark matter stones. You need them anyways. They're really, really good just because of these bonuses right here. You get 400 CP just from using it, plus your skill damage goes up. You have the other cheaper ones as an option, but I just prefer using these. The Caphras crystal, I don't need them. I get plenty of them. In the totem chest, I get plenty of them. This seems like a waste to be spending your resources on them. So I would say don't even worry about making these. These are like a waste of time. If you're going to craft anything, craft a dark matter stone. So I'm not going to do the math on these to see which one's the best ones, especially because the only thing that you can actually deliver is going to be... can you even deliver the dark matter stones? I think you can, right? Let's just go over there and let's check what we can deliver really quickly. So let's look at manufactured delivery. The only things that we can deliver are these stones, which the stones give 1.7k. So I think what I'm going to look at is how many materials that it takes to deliver one of these stones, and then how many materials does it take to deliver either one of these cannons. So that one's 10,000, that one's 10,000. Both cannons are going to be 10,000 points, so that's easy. And then really I just need to deliver like 6 of these for them to be equal. So, well, actually, if I really wanted to be like super specific, let's just take this back a notch. Let's do 10,000. And we're getting 1.7 from this. So let's do 10,000 divided by 1,700. This is the exact number that we need of these to get the same amount of points. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the materials, the base materials. It is possible to make extras, so that kind of makes this a bit tricky, but because like if you made extras of these, you'll get a whole lot more points versus if you had made extras of these dark matter stones. But we're just gonna look at the base amount, and then once I'm actually crafting these cannons, if I make extras, I'll kind of make a mental note of that. Like if it's 20% extra that you're looking at, which is on average what you get for the mules, you could also probably look at this the same way, like, okay, this is like another 20% chance that you'll get an extra one of these, which in this case, that's probably way better than getting a 20% increase of these. But either way, so I'm just going to use the correct math. Like this is actually as close as it'll be. So times 60. So it'll take 352 Shadow Veil powder. And then it would take, let's do this one again. And then we'll multiply this by 35. And it'll take 205, 206 if you round up, of these blaze powders just to make enough for the same amount of points for these. So now what I want to look at is how many resources does it actually take to make these? So just to make a single one, we either have 20 of these ingots, we have 10, 16, 12, okay? Or we have 18 of these ingots, we have 12 of these plant-based, and we have 16 lumber. So let's go look at all of these. So for the lumber, it's pretty cheap. All you need are these tree saps. The tree sap's pretty easy to get. So just for a base number, we have 16. So I'm going to start with the Shroud Knights cannon. So we have 16. If we made, okay, so it'll take 32 of these tree saps. So not bad, but let's look at the ingots. So we need 18 ingots. if we did 18 times 15, it would take us 270 rift powder. So already that's kind of looking like pretty similar just in terms of making the ingots. So what we can do is just make like 18, sure. So that's a similar cost for just the ingots. And honestly, I'm not even looking at the XP percentages, but this is also something to take into account is every time that you craft something in manufacturing, you're getting XP. So if I did this one, I'll only get XP for crafting this dark matter stone, but I'm going to get XP for crafting the lumber, the ingot, the plant-based powder, and anything else that I need. So really, I just need 12 plant-based powders now. So let's go look at this. So for this one, I would need 120 or 144 of these insectivorous plant powder. I think I said that right. So 144 of these, and then I would need 120 shadow veil powder. So that's actually not that bad. I'll just make another note of that. So it was 270 of the blaze powder or something, like shadow maybe. So let's do 10 times 12, so another 120. That's for that one. And then we do 12 times 12, which is 144. So these are the total number of resources that we would need. So if you add these up, this is 550. This is probably like right around 524, I think is the math on that. Maybe 34. Let's just do that. Plus 120 plus, what's the other one? 270. 534 in total. Okay. But then also you have to take into account the logs and whatnot, but really those are so cheap it doesn't even matter in my opinion. So now what I want to do is let's also make 12 of these just to kind of look at what's the XP that I'm gaining. And I didn't really look at what it was before, so I'm at 68% now, but now I'm at 72%. And when I say before, I'm talking about whenever I made these ingots. But always keep in mind, I can make extra, and if I make extra, I'm assuming it's kind of the same way with cooking, where it's not the base amount that I'm making, it's the amount that I make in total. So because I made 15, I probably got XP for making 15. So now we have everything we need for this cannon, so let's just manufacture one of them. And let's see how much XP we get for that. So we got 9% just for crafting this cannon. So that's pretty good. What I want to do now though is, because it takes about six of these, or what's the math on it? It takes about 6 of these to get the total number of points that you would need. The cost is pretty low. It's pretty easy to make these, but what I want to look at now is the XP. Do I get at nearly as much XP as I just got right now? So I would need about like 20% XP. I think it might be less just because I didn't look at what it was when I started, but when I'm editing, I'll kind of look at that and I'll see how much XP I got in total just for making that one cannon. But let's do mass manufacture. Let's just do 4. Let's do 5 just because like it's a little bit less than 6, but if I make extra, I'll get more XP. So I'm actually probably just gonna make 6 in total. So I got 9%. So that's for the 6 in total. I'm gonna also say this, like, because I ended up making extras for the iron ingot, the plant-based powder, the lumber, I'm gonna go under the assumption, like, kind of like the 20% thing, that I would have made an extra one if I had done 6. So let's just do this and see where we end up, and then I'll pretend that's like around the baseline. So it's like 2% per each one that I craft, which is that's pretty good. I actually don't mind that. So I got 11% for making 7 of these dark matter stones. I think in total I made a lot more XP just for making this cannon. So like this is just me eyeballing it, but I would say the cannon might actually be better. It's a little bit more complicated in terms of like all of the resources that you need. So something that I would say is a couple of things. So let's look at this really quickly. So the only resources that you need for the dark matter crystal are realistically only the shadow veil powder, the blaze powder. Okay. For the cannon though, what you need is everything to craft this stuff. So you will need you'll need this tree sap, you'll need rift powder, you'll need both insectivorous plant powder and shadow veil powder. So you need a whole bunch of different resources for this one. So what I would say is look at your node management, and to actually get this insectivorous plant, you have to have your node all the way over to the right. And then to actually get that tree sap, you have to have your node unlocked all the way to the left. So like maybe if you're a newer player, you might not be able to reach all the way across. Whereas if you're just making the dark matter stone, all you need is this spot right here for the shadow veil powder, and this spot up here for the blaze powder. So that's actually really easy, really close. But another thing is what you'll want is to have these nodes maxed out. So like, as you can see, my node is level 10 here and it's level 10 over here. So what you would need for the cannon, you'll need this one level 10. You'll need this one level 10. You'll need this one level 10. And I think the rift one is right here. I could be wrong. And then you'll also need this one level 10. So you'll need multiple of them level 10. So the cannons would probably be better if... I think the cannons are better in general. But if you're a newer player, making the dark matter stone is probably in your best interest. It's just easier. Your resources are spread a lot less thin. So... just kind of keep that in mind. But just from kind of what I can tell is in terms of XP and then the amount of resources, it's probably better to make the cannon. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get to level 12 master. And then I'm going to try to do the same thing. I'm going to do the Catan Army cannon just to kind of see what that looks like, how many materials it takes, how much XP I end up getting. And then I'm going to do all the other ones again. So I'm going to do Dark Matter Stone, and then I'm going to do another one of these cannons. What I'm trying to see, though, is if I can make double cannons. If I can make double cannons, I want to see if I get the XP for making 2 of them. But then also... maybe like what's the percentage of making them. So I'm just gonna go through this. Let's manufacture like let's do 4, and that should get me pretty close to the level. Okay, so 1 more should get me there. If my level was higher, this would probably be a lot easier to make sure that I don't have like higher percentages. Like, cause I could be at 99.9% right now, and now I could be at like way higher than 1%, but either way, it is what it is. So let's just take a look. I'm gonna try to get to 2%, like just a flat 2%, so that we have a nice little baseline, and I'll keep doing this every time I change this up. So what I want to see is how many it actually takes to get to 2% with these totem chests. But I'm not going to do that. Actually, let's just do it. Let's make like 5 of these. Let's see how many I end up with. Or how much percent I end up with. Okay, whoops, I went over. That's fine. I ended up making 6. Let's get back to just like a baseline 4%. It's probably not that many to get each percentage for these, but I just want to see so that way I can know how far away I was when I finish each one of these. So now I'm at 4%. I'll just leave it where it's at. That's fine, whatever. Let's just move on. So I need 20 of these iron ingots. I need 10 of these base powders. I need 16 of the lumber. And then on top of that, I still need 12 blaze powders. So let's do 20 ingots. And I know that I'm going over, but that's fine. If I make extra, I make extra. So I got about 5% just for making the 27 ingots. And then what I want to do is let's make 16 lumber. So that gave me barely 1%. But that's okay. I think the lumber gives probably like the least XP out of all of these. So now I need 10 of these plant-based powders. Which that gave me 3%. So again, we're not doing too bad here. And that's everything that I need just for the one. So just for the one, I ended up getting, I think I was at 4%, right? I should probably take more notice of where I was before. So I think I got 9% in total just for making that. So let's manufacture. Okay, and then we got another 9%, so about 18% in total just for making this cannon, which that's pretty good. And then what I'm gonna do is let's get this to a baseline of 23%. Okay, so that took forever. It takes a lot of lumber to get 1%. But now what I wanted to do is kind of look at how many resources in total did it cost me? So just kind of looking back at the calculator, it took me 534 total resources for the first cannon, and it took me, let's see what the math was on the other one. It would have taken me 559 total resources for these dark matter stones. I weight all of these powders the exact same. I weight the powder the same as the tree sap, etc., just because whenever you're actually gathering them, so if you go to your node, you're getting the exact same amount. So obtainable resources 13 to 14. If this was maxed out, it'd be 15. So I'd be getting 15 at the same rate that I get like this powder right here, I get 15. So the way I see it is, it doesn't matter which one of these resources you get. It's just a matter of how many resources are you using to make those. So from what I can see is the dark matter stone takes the most amount of resources, with that first cannon being taking less. But let me look at the math really quickly on this one. So it's 20 ingots, it's 10 plant-based powders, it's 16 of those, and it's 12 blaze powders. So for 20 ingots, it's 300. So let's just do 20 ingots times shoot, what was it, times 15. So it's 300, and then we have that we need 10 plant-based powders. So it's plus 120 plus 100. Okay, so 520 total now. And then for the tree sap, we need 16 times 2, which is 32. So plus 32. So the first cannon seems to cost the least. So that's how many total resources it is for the Catan army. Plus, you still need to add the 12 for the blaze powder. So plus 12. So it's 564 total resources to make this one cannon. Whereas this one is only... let's look. This one is only 534. So that's assuming these are going to give you the same amount of XP. They might not, but they also might. I have no idea. So what I want to do now is, because I ended up getting 18% for that other one, I want to see how much percentage I get for just making the dark matter stones. And I'm going to make 6 of them because it's close enough. And then just as a reminder, that 23% was like, that was as close as 23% base as I could get. So I got 10% just for making these dark matter stones. Which that's not bad, but for the amount of resources that you're using, it is pretty bad. Because like if I just look at, because I made 6 times 60 equals 360, and then 35 times 6 plus 360. So I used 570 materials, which I could have just used like a tiny bit more for the other cannon, or what I could have used is 534 total for this first cannon. So that's my recommendation. These 2 cannons are going to be better for your experience if you care about experience. In terms of points though, these 2 cannons are also probably going to be a little bit better, especially if you have like a 20% chance to make a duplicate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few more of these and see if I can make any duplicates. If I can't, then that kind of sucks. If I can't make duplicates of the cannon, it's actually going to be the dark matter stones that are cheaper, because you'll at least have a chance to make an extra one, and that extra one will add up for the points, and it'll add up for like saving you cost of these resources. But let's just see. So what I wanted to do was, let's do the Shroud Knight's cannon. What I'm going to do is try to get this base number back down to like 34% flat. So let's just manufacture like 5 and see if I get to 34. Because these give so little XP. And I don't want to sit here trying over and over. Jeez, okay, that takes forever every time. So let's do the Shroud Knight. We need 18 ingots, 12 plant-based powder, and then 16 of these bars. So we're at 34%. 16 lumber, 12, and 18. So just remember, on the other cannon, we got 18% XP, but that was not at like a flat percentage like this is right now. So this is like as good as it's gonna get for pretty low XP. What I should have been doing is seeing how many lumbers it takes to get 1% here. That way I would know like how close I was to my percentage, but yeah, I was a little bit lazy for this one just because it took so many lumbers. So let's do 18 of these. Like, as you just saw, I just made 16 lumber. I didn't even get 1% from this. So I should actually be, if I were to figure out the lumber, I'd be really accurate. But yeah, it is what it is. So with this, I just got 5%. I made 23 bars. And then I think I need 12 of these. Okay. Let's do 12. Okay, so I started at 24%, or sorry, I started at 34%, and I'm ending up at 43%. So I got 9% from this, like in total for all the materials to make this cannon. So let's make one cannon now. and see how much we get. $52. So this is another 18% XP just from what I can tell. I would say, so pretty much like this is just me like in conclusion. If you want to make the most amount of points, it's probably going to be these dark matter stones right here, just because you can make multiples of them. If you can make multiples of the cannons, this Shroud Knights cannon is going to be the best. The cannons are also way better to make because you're going to get a lot more experience in terms of, or rather, you're going to get a lot more experience for the amount of resources that you use. So the Shroud's Knight Cannon is going to be the best one to make because you use the least amount of resources, and you pretty much get the exact same amount of XP as the Catan Army Cannon. I don't actually know how close they are specifically, but I just know that the cost for this Shroud's Knight Cannon is much, much lower than the cost for the Catan Army Cannon. The other thing is, if you can't get duplicates of these, so like if I crafted, let's just make like 4 of them or however many we can make. Like if I could craft duplicates, these would probably be better than the dark matter stones, but so far I haven't been able to craft any duplicates. So even right there, I just made 1. So like if I were to make more of these ingots, which I'm just gonna go ahead and make all of them. And let's see if it is possible to craft duplicates. I'm gonna make a lot of these, so my XP is probably gonna go up pretty high. So let's do a whole bunch of lumber. Do like 500, sure, why not? So again, obviously the XP percentages you'll be getting is going to be changing based on the level that you're at. I'll just do all of these again, why not? But what I'm looking at, or at least what I was looking at, was I was comparing my XP gains for those specific levels. So that way they'd at least be somewhat comparable. So let's go back over here. I have enough to make 12. So let's see if I am able to make more than just the 12, then this is probably the best thing to be crafting in terms of points as well. I could get really unlucky, like maybe it is possible to make duplicates, but I just haven't seen any so far. So let's take a look. Okay, yeah, I could make duplicates. So I was supposed to come out with 12, but I ended up with 13. I think that they lowered the amount of extras that you can make, because on average what I was seeing before was like I was making at least like 20% extra, but this one I'm barely seeing like 10%. But again, this is really good for your XP making these cannons, but in terms of points, I would probably say the dark matter stones are going to be your best bet, just because like if I made like, which I don't even have enough materials, but if I made like 4 or 5, I could at least expect to make 1 extra one. But again, this one's not super math based. I just kind of wanted to show you like what I feel is probably the best. And I'm not gonna like try to support it with too much evidence, but hopefully this was enough to at least kind of make your own conclusion. At least my own conclusion is from now on, I'll be making Shroud Knights cannons exclusively. And then whenever I need to, like, I'll make these dark matter stones as well, just because I have a lot of this blaze powder. It does kind of use some of the shadow veil powder, but like it is what it is. Because like whenever I make this plant-based gunpowder, I need the shadow veil powder. But either way, dark matter stones are really good. If you want to just offer it to the merchant delivery, offer that. But if you want to be making a lot of manufacturing XP, be making these cannons. So also just kind of keep this in mind. Increase your manufacturing levels to obtain extra items from manufacture and unlock more items to manufacture. So the higher your manufacturing level, the more chances you'll have, or the more percentage of chance that you'll have to actually make an extra one of these. So I probably should have said that from the beginning, but keep that in mind. That's gonna really help you later on. So honestly, again, what I would say is do the Shroud Light Cannon, really power level, and then you can start to make more duplicates, hopefully. But that's pretty much everything for me. I'm sorry that I rambled a lot. I know someone had asked me like a question on this before, but it seemed a little complicated, so I had kind of been putting it off. But this is just kind of my way of answering them. So I definitely hope that this helps you out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to ask me like more stuff, you can always feel free to join the Discord. I'm pretty available there. But yeah, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.